Pretty amazing that Sean Payton's greatest victory, the Super Bowl, took place in the same stadium where he suffered his most humiliating defeat. Both occurred at Hard Rock Stadium. But now that he's turned around the Broncos, he has a chance this season to become the first NFL head coach in history to lead two different franchises to Super Bowl wins. A big accomplishment for the Broncos this season. And one other note, Greeny, the Broncos brought aboard the former Lions offensive coordinator Johnny Morton this week as a special consultant. He worked in Denver before. He's been on all the meetings this week, helping Denver get ready for today's game against the Buffalo Bills.
All right, so they're pulling out all the stops, obviously. Sal Pal has this game covered for us on the ground in Denver. Good morning, Sal. And so let's talk about Sean Payton. How did he prepare his team for this game today?
Well, you got 3 points of emphasis in practice this week, Greeny. Number one, we cannot allow Josh Allen, Superman, wearing number 17, to come onto this field and wreck the afternoon. And what they will do in this game is their cage rush. That's the old mush rush that Jim Johnson used to have in Philadelphia. Vance Joseph has that cage rush where Benito and the other side of the defensive line gets after Josh Allen but keeps him in the pocket, and then they allow their defensive tackle to come straight up the middle to hem Josh Allen. Easier said than done, because they talked about the fact that Josh Allen has such speed and elusiveness and power. As Sean Payton said, I've never seen a quarterback with a 7-yard quarterback sneak before. He's a unique player. He's one of the best players that we have in this league. And then second point of emphasis, be better in the red zone on offense. The last time they were on this field against the Chargers, 0 for 3 in the red zone, couldn't punch it in for a touchdown. And Sean Payton admitted this week he got a little salty with his team about their performance in the red zone. He put the starters against the starters, good on good, in practice to test his offense, test his young quarterback, knowing they got to be more productive in the red zone. And then the third thing, and you talked about it already on your show, be more aggressive offensively. Take the restrictor plate off of this offense. Be daring, but not reckless.
That's perfectly put. Sal, thank you very much. Alex had that tape for us earlier in the show. So the Broncos, you heard Sean Payton say we wanted to be the 1 seed. And Teddy has referred to that as the biggest advantage in all of sports. And there are a lot of reasons why that's true. Yeah. Going back as long as there has only been the 1 bye, the 1 seeds in their first games are 7-3. It's good. It's not 9-1. It's not 10-0. And Randy, you were telling us last night, sometimes there's a little danger in getting a bye at this time of year.
Well, that time off can really affect and really hurt your team, because the team that's coming into your home could be carrying some momentum. And if there's anybody in the last of these 8 teams that's carrying momentum, it has to be the Buffalo Bills. Rex, I asked you a question when they were showing it. How hard, as a coordinator, is it to prepare for a guy like Josh Allen at the quarterback
I think it would
position?
be the hardest quarterback to prepare for, in my opinion. Why? He's so talented at throwing the football. He's got a bazooka for an arm, so he can make every single throw. All right, he's got vision in the pocket, or a feel in the pocket. And by the way, he can run. This guy is so fast and big and strong that he basically can run like a tailback when you let him out of there. His escapability. I said he's the best red zone quarterback in the history of the game, Randy. And so to me, that's it. Whether he's pegging it in there because the windows get tight in the red zone, he can throw it through. It doesn't matter. And he can nobody's rushed for more touchdowns from the quarterback position than Josh Allen in the history of our game.
And what was that defense that Sal Pal said they may use today?
Cage rush.
Well, it's kind of like, the reason why I asked that is because when you game plan for a player, I think when you look at Josh Allen, I'm going off of what I saw last week, the game plan was just thrown out of the door. Being able to keep him under wraps. I mean, I talked about Shakir, the wide receiver, and the hell of a job the offense coordinator Joe Brady did. You're throwing a guy 12 targets where everybody looked at Shakir being the gadget guy, the slip screens, the quick screens. He had a hell of a day. So, like I said, Josh Allen going against this defense. You're talking about Hufanga, Cooper, Allen, and I cannot leave out a guy about Benito. throw out your game plan, and what you see is exactly what you're going to get. They got to bring him down today, bro.
Let me talk about this cage rush
yes.
a little bit and how hard it actually is as a former defensive player and how hard it is to coach. And in practice, it's great. You get somebody running around that stuff, and you have your discipline, and you stay there, and you say that. You get to the game. All right, the Denver Broncos led the league in sacks, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's their biggest strength.
this is what I get paid to do. Okay, I'll cage rush it for 1 second, all right? But no, I'm eventually just going to get Josh Allen, and that's where it's going to happen. It's almost like for the great cage, the best cage rushers have discipline, and they know they just sit there and they wait, and they wait, and they wait. I doubt Benito and Cooper can do this and execute this for
real
an
quick,
entire game.
a cage rush, is that more in the field, red zone, or what? Because if they're going to, if we're expecting Denver to use that cage rush in the red zone, we know what Josh Allen is best at.
Go ahead, Rex.
Well, yeah, no, I assume for sure 100% of the time it's going to be in the red zone.
Okay.
All right? I don't like it on the field. Because I never like to slow down Pro Bowl pass rushers. So Allen to me, free run. Cooper, free run. Benito, free run.
There it
the
is.
other two guys are going to be the guys that are going to be responsible for cutting him off.
Okay.
All right. Then we let our pursuit get there and we put him in a box.
Yeah.
All right. That's what you do. But you never, ever slow down a pass rusher unless it's in the red zone. Why the red zone? He's going to take off. 100% he's going to take off. So to me, that's when you got to cage him in and take inside leverage of blocks.
I think they'll spy him. I think they'll spy him as well today.
Of course.
Right? Like they feel like advantage for Denver, their secondary is so good, right? The Bills don't have great pass catchers on the outside. They're going to be playing heavy man, right? Get the extra hat in the box. Spy Josh Allen, who is so good. Maybe that lets your defensive ends who are so good at getting off the ball. Listen, you have home field advantage. Yeah. I think the idea that you're asking these edge players who are so quick and fast to cage rush and just kind of be cautious does seem crazy.
And the reason why I said throw your game plan out, because I see it similar. Not saying that the Denver Broncos defense and the Jags defense are on the same level, but it's similar. Stop him, stop the ball from getting to the outside. That's what I'm hearing right now. Well, but we're talking about the number one seeded Denver Broncos.
That's the difference.
The last time we seen a number one seed team come out flat, and I said this to answer your question, Greeny, they cannot afford to come out flat. The reason why last year, I'm talking about as hot as anybody in the National Football League right now. Josh Allen is him. Last year, going against your Detroit Lions, there was another hot, phenomenal quarterback coming in that led the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. I see Josh Allen leading his team coming in the number one seed. Denver Broncos better come out hot.
Who else is it going to be with Josh? Because I'm telling you something right now. You're right. They're playing the number one seed. And for the Buffalo Bills, one-man shows don't win championships, okay? And eventually you run into the team that exactly knows how to stop you. And I know it's tough to defend. And we're talking about all these things. The self-control the rushers have to have. But this is the guy you really have to stop. Is this a one-man show? Absolutely, because we're at 4.5 seconds now. Where's the contain? Where's those rushers? Where's the discipline? It's not there. The ball disruption is there. 6.8 seconds to throw the ball, and then look at this. Are you kidding me with this throw? No one's even in the picture down in the end zone, and there it is. There's a touchdown.
Wow.
And there's the reaction by Vance Joseph there. How often can that happen tomorrow? But I'm telling you, this is just a better team this year than it was last year. I think Bo is going to make some great plays to make this a very tight one.
I mean, I love Bo Nix. The best defense against Josh may be offensively for the Broncos to run the football, right? Keep him on the sideline, control the time of possession. You're going against a Bills defense that is almost dead last against the run. You know what they're first at? The pass, right? They are really good defending the pass. And this is ironic because Bo Nix led the NFL in pass attempts, right? Can they kind of flip character, commit to the run game for 4 quarters?
Both these teams want to run
What
it.
did you say about Bo Nix? You trust Bo Nix.
Oh, I trust. He's a 190-mile-an-hour player.
Yeah, so you trust him, and I trust him too, Granny. To screw it up. All right? I'm going to say it. They're 28 in yards per attempt, so they're not what you think.
He's won more games than any quarterback in the first 2 years.
He's got like 24th quarter comebacks
He's
this
the
season.
best quarterback in the NFL when trailing.
I mean, sometimes he looks like he plays by the seat of his pants, and that's what Buffalo feeds on, man. They get the takeaway.
By the way, very quick little interesting note. The only 2 quarterbacks remaining who do not have a playoff win are the 2-1 seeds.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold in the NFC, and Nick's over here on the AFC side, of course, didn't get to play last week. We'll see what he's got in store today at home. At the 1 seed in Denver today, and again, Sal Pal with our coverage live from Denver. Sal, what should we know about the Bills and their preparation for this particular matchup?
Well, Michael, an intriguing aspect of this matchup happens before the players take the field. I'm in the tunnel right outside the visitors' locker room here at Empower Field at Mile High, and you can see this sign. This is what greets the visitors before they go into the tunnel. Elevation 5,280 feet, altitude sickness is real. And it's no coincidence that that sign is right outside the Bills locker room. I have my cameraman Gar show us where the locker room players have to go right past the sign to the locker room. Josh Allen talked about it this week. It's important to prepare for the altitude, take it seriously. Of course, we know he played at Wyoming and Laramie, where the altitude is 7,000 feet, so almost 2,000 feet higher than it is here. He talked about taking it seriously. Here was the three-point plan that the Bills incorporated this week to get ready for it. First and foremost, some of the players used an altitude chamber. Deion Dawkins, their offensive tackle, talked about going into the altitude chamber like a Nike ad, putting the mask on the treadmill, getting your body acclimated to the thin air that way. Then, of course, plenty of hydration, plenty of rest, get your body ready for it. And if you need be on the sideline, the oxygen on the sideline with the mask. So the Bills are taking it seriously. Altitude sickness is real. When you're playing in a football game with all those fans in the stadium, it's something you have to prepare for, be ready for, and fight through. That's what Josh Allen said, Greeny.
Outstanding, Sal. Just super quickly, that's a different kind of home field advantage, right? It's one thing to have loud fans and all the rest of that, but that's a real factor.